Now check it out.
Oh, it's going live, and it's the stream the one that we thought it was going to be.
All
right. Let me publish. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, it's a split brain right now. I got to figure out how to shut down this other one.
Randy Gelking, I got no audio, but let's...
There we go.
But he's in a different... He's not in the main one.
I see.
There we go.
Oh, there he is.
Can we put a link in the other chat? Just direct people over?
Yeah, I think it's working now. I had to hit a different button to go live on YouTube for some reason. Whatever.
Huh.
Hey, everybody. Mr. Peabody, how you doing tonight?
Welcome.
I don't know.
Welcome to the awkward part of the beginning of the show where we creak.
Where we waste 10, 15 minutes.
We push the car forward down the hill and it starts.
And Jerry looks so forlorn. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him psyched up here.
Hey,
I feel like I've already done the show. I feel like the show's over already.
I would criticize technology, but I gotta say it's been a triumph of technology week at our end.
Yeah, the technology is. We used to have a joke in the old days about calling your part into the studio on the phone. It was like a big joke. Of course, now you can call your part into the phone.
Yeah.
Well, we had a funny, well, not funny, but yesterday, my wife called me at work and said the trailer with all the games in it was stolen. And so we had a trailer stolen out of our parking lot. She put in a police report about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we posted it to Twitter and Facebook. And literally, this word just went out, like massive, internet spread of the word. And somebody said, throw that up on Ring Neighborhood. And so we threw the incident up on Ring Neighborhood, and that connected to somebody in the Nextdoor app or whatever it is, this internet community. And we had the trailer back within, we knew where it was within about 3 hours of posting, which was crazy. We found it before the police did. Well, that's not accurate. We found it after the police ticketed it and towed it, but did not identify it as a stolen vehicle, despite it having been reported 2 hours prior.
Was there stuff still in it and everything?
Yeah, so the funny thing is the back door was frozen shut. And so I think, we had put a chain on the tire, and I think what happened is these guys dragged the trailer, and they had, this one tire dragging, not spinning, got about 1.5 miles away, and we're like, what the hell is this sound and racket, and it's not working? And so they ditched it in an alley. And the posting on the neighborhood board was, hey, who the hell left the trailer in the alley? I can't get out of my garage. So we actually got a ticket from the city for blocking an alley, and we had to pay $140 impound lot towing fee, which was interesting. But
our laws at work. Our laws at work.
Right.
Are we on air? Are we doing a show?
We're live.
We're live.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm just warming it up.
Yeah, let's kick this off, okay? All right.
Well, they come as if from outer space in a variety of weird guises. Defender, Pac-Man, asteroids. To fans, they represent a challenge.
I wouldn't play a candy-ass game like Pac-Man. That's for girls and chumps. The guys who play Pac-Man are not very talented. They can't handle games like Missile Command or any of the real tough games.
Video game fanatics, from kids to businessmen, are packing into the nation's arcades to play Pac-Man. It's the latest electronic toy. It's already more popular than Space Invaders or Missile Command.
This is the current craze game, Pac-Man.
I like the little man. He's really neat. He eats up all the other things,
How about that Pac-Man song that I hear around here all the time?
Yeah, you sing it a lot. You hum it.
Indeed, and play it on the jukebox at full volume.
'Cause I got Pac-Man fever. Pac-Man fever. It's driving me crazy. I got Pac-Man fever.
This is Arcade Radio.
Hello, Commander. Computer reporting.
Intruder alert, intruder alert.
A stimulating opponent.
Hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 5 of the Arcade Radio Podcast. Today is Thursday, December 12th, 2019, and the time is now approximately 7:30 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining us in the Arcade-sphere. This is your host, Adam, Daddy-O. I'm joined by my co-host, Mark Time Runner Shields, and Paradise Arcade Shop proprietor and former world champion professional Gene Wrangler, Brian Thurston Howell III. And returning tonight, songwriter, keyboardist, arranger, vocalist, chemist. No, wait, not a chemist. But otherwise, all around, super awesome, great guy, and keeper of the sounds, the one, the only, Mr. Jerry Buckner. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. What an introduction.
Very nice. Chemistry.
I wish I could have seen what you guys were doing. It sounded great. I don't know what happened. But, was that parts of that from the 80s or something? I didn't get to see it.
I totally made that up.
No, he's talking about the clip at the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I just wove that together from some YouTube videos, just audio.
Oh, cool.
Dan Rather and some local news outlets talking about Pac-Man and how awesome it was.
Oh, what's the frequency? That guy? What's it?
Right.
Yeah. So I got I'll send you that clip if you want it. It's fun.
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's great to have you back on the show. We haven't seen you in about 3 years. You've done a few things since. We have lots to talk about. We should probably get going. How about we jump right into to what we like to call the arcade news.
Good evening. The Arcade News, arcades, pinball, industry alumni, arcade openings, collecting, celebrities, world record holders, operators, coin-op, conventions, new products and gadgets, gamers. The Arcade News.
I'm Brian McLeod. I'm Adam Stevens.
We interrupt. There's been a late development.
And now, the Arcade News with Brian McLeod.
Welcome to the Arcade News. We've got three nice quick stories today. So, Waffle House, first off, is handing out music awards. The names of the most played songs at Waffle House. Number one song was Location by Khalid 2 years ago. This year came in at number 3. Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton came in first place honors. But of note, Waffle House record legends Jerry Buckner, Danny Jones, and Mike Stewart reunited to sing their classic, There Are Raisins on My Toast. Classical classic has been playing since its debut in the 90s.
Okay, let's hear Jerry's take on this.
What was that like?
Oh, well, there's the award. Can you see it? It's back, way back there.
Is that it? Is it the
way
one
up
shaped
back
like a
there.
waffle? Or
Here, let me put a spotlight on it.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh yeah, now I see it.
It's right there next to the gold records and all the other stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The Waffle. I got involved in that in 1982. A friend of mine, Mary Rogers, who was married to Joe Rogers, who owned Waffle House. It's a family-owned company, and we started doing these songs to play in the jukebox. And I thought it was, a pretty stupid idea, but it wasn't. It turned out to be a brilliant idea because they got tons of publicity from it. And but we did the song. We were doing a lot of them. We did like 5 records a year at that time, and we would just do these songs. And this particular one was the Raisin Toast song, and it was kind of a Four Seasons sound, if you remember who that group was back in the 60s. And people loved the song, and so we got awards. I mean, it's crazy, but it's a cool award. I love it. And we got they had a lot of different people that they've given these to. It's become Waffle House has become like this pop culture thing, and a lot of people do songs now about it. So
that's crazy.
It was fun getting the award. I enjoyed it.
I love the Waffle House. We always, when we go to Florida to visit my cousins, we go to the Waffle House. It's super fun.
You know, I can tell you things about Waffle House too. The owners, the original owners, did not want to call it Waffle House. And you know why? Can you guess why they wouldn't want to call it Waffle House?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Wrong.
Sorry. Yeah. Because they were afraid that people would just come for breakfast, which is kind of true even to this day. Yeah. They don't have much of a dinner. They have a good overnight, a good breakfast, and kind of a lunch. And the other thing that's funny, and I'll shut up about Waffle House, is originally they had just the stools and the counter, and then they started putting in the booths. And the owner, Joe Sr., didn't want to put booths in. Can you guess why? Why would you not want booths?
Because elephants don't fit in booths.
No. Okay, wrong again. Because he was afraid that people would, when you sit on a stool at a counter, you don't sit there long because it's very uncomfortable. So you get up and leave, and somebody else comes in, and then they make more money. People would sit in the booths and not get up. Like, you ever try to get in a Waffle House on a Sunday? You go in there, and people reading the paper in the booth, and and talking and yakking. So he was right about that. But anyway, they did it.
You see, that's funny, Joe. Joe Senior had it right. He's a businessman.
Yeah,
smart.
Yeah,
he was into the restaurant business, and he knew what was going on. But yeah, Waffle House is an amazing thing. They're in, I think, 24 states. There's thousands all over.
And I think honestly, if you wanted to talk about anything, you could read the Bible or the back of an encyclopedia, and I'm pretty sure the fans of your music and your voice work would be happy to hear you talk all night. So don't worry about droning on.
Yes, please continue.
We've had a lot of crazy things happen to us, but Waffle House is one of the great parts of it. I enjoy doing it. I've been blessed to do a lot of different things, and that's it's been one of the fun things. I've probably written 25 songs for them, and some of them are pretty good, some of them are pretty bad, because you had to go. It was a committee thing. You would go in, you get a song idea, and we would do a little demo and go in, and then you had these corporate guys, and they all got to say something, and
Well, the song should contain the word syrup. Please include the word syrup in there somehow.
Well, it's as stupid as that. Yeah, I mean, they would say stuff, and you take something into something pretty good, and they would want to tear it up. But
syrup doesn't rhyme with anything. How do you make a song out of it?
The checks were good, so you keep going.
Oh, that's good.
But by and large, we had everybody was cool, and we had a pretty good time. I know they one time Mary did several songs in the beginning, and one time she was in a Waffle House, and the manager that was in there or whatever was talking to the cook, didn't realize who she was, and said something about, I can't stand that Mary Welch woman singing. Her husband owned the business, and so the guy said, the regional guy said to him, hey, that's his wife sitting over there. No, you dumbass. Anyway, but Waffle House, I got a bunch of Waffle House songs that were never put out, so maybe I'll send them to you.
Yeah, I'm into making one-offs of music to stick in my jukebox. So yeah, go ahead and do that.
Oh man, I can set you right up, man. You can be the Waffle House king of Minneapolis. I heard the Waffle House is they're in Minneapolis, right?
No, we don't have. We don't have.
They're not.
Or maybe it's Wisconsin. I think there was somewhere where they really are considered. People love them and think they're like regular restaurants and everything.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I just did a bit with John Grease, the guy who plays Uncle Rico, and my van from Napoleon Dynamite that I was just talking to you about off the air. And ESPN took us to a Waffle House, and of course they have steak and eggs in the morning, right? And the steak looked so weird. It was like the perfect, it just totally fit right in.
Well, the waffles are full of cream. That's why. So if you when you're getting on the calories, but they are the best waffles. They're just terrific. Their food is really good. Waffle House food is good. It's a lot better than most of your of your chains, hamburger chains and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
The closest one to us is I think Illinois.
Yeah. All right.
There's 2 of them.
Enough about Waffle House. The chatters are ready to challenge Jerry in what's in the Juke. So we got to move on to the next news article.
So so this is actually a great story because from Dayton.com, in 2020 in Cincinnati, Columbus, and Indianapolis, as well as some other cities, they're going to be having the perfect format for Pac-Man Fever Song. There's going to be a life-size Pac-Man maze. And it's a puzzle. You have to complete the game. You'll be placed on the leaderboard and crowned the ultimate leader if you finish. However, if you're caught by a ghost, you lose a life. 3 lives and you're out. So, anyways, it's actually kind of interesting if you go look at this thing. It's a full-size kind of inflatable maze with people running around it, and then these people in ghost costumes chasing after the people inside. And of course,
wasn't this in the movie Club Dread? Yeah,
there was.
You can see the problems with this. I mean,
can I punch the ghost?
You got people running around ghosts or whatever, grabbing people. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see where that
could be inappropriate touching.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong with that? No, so tell me, is it? So it's like an inflatable thing. What does it look like?
It looks like, so the walls look like kind of almost a bounce house walls with mesh net kind of bounce house tubes with mesh net walls, so you can kind of see through the maze in different directions, but it's not clear. I mean, when you see it from above, it's like, well, that's pretty easy. I imagine when you're down, looks like it's about 7-8 feet tall, and when you're down at kind of like regular level, it's probably somewhat confusing to get through.
So if you get in a bind, you just pull out a pin and pop it.
Yeah, you just a knife and start cutting meshes straight through.
I solved it.
As long as at the center of the maze there isn't like a ball pit, then we're all good.
Right.
Yeah, Randy Gelking says, well, just sign a waiver.
Yeah, sure. So what's the power pellet, right? Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoes off, no shoes allowed.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it's not good. They're gonna be naked maze running and all this stuff. It's just gonna be bad.
Well, and the last thing that I'll go over, kind of a neat little product, because we haven't done products in a few weeks, was the Pac-Man cufflinks on Etsy released. These are Namco domed arcade token style cufflinks with Pac-Man on them and Namco. They are $17.49 markdown, $7.50 for the holidays. But the sale ends in 27 hours, so you better act quick. But these are in so this is the 1980 release, 39th anniversary birthday. They couldn't just quite get to 40 yet. So anyways, kind of a fun little product. So
all right.
Pac-Man coupling. Okay.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Back to the cave with Time Runner.
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Welcome to Back to the Cave, where we discuss things in the 80s and stuff. And so the first thing we've been doing in this season has been to play a vintage television broadcast, rather. And the funny thing is, I think Adam sort of played a little part of this.
I probably did. I did. This is the exact one I played.
Okay. So this is Dan Ruther discussing the arcade game's addiction in the 80s.
Oh yes. Let me cue this up for our listeners.
So that we don't have to hear the advertisement for Grammarly.
In a variety of weird guises: Defender, Pac-Man, asteroids. To fans, they represent a challenge, but to critics, as Terry Drinkwater reports, they are a menace.
Terry Drinkwater.
A menace.
Come on in. It's almost another world here in the video arcades of America. 1 billion games are played every month. A quarter each for Escape, which can last a long time if you're skilled. Pit yourself against the computer. Millions, mostly teenagers, have. So many, in fact, that psychologists are beginning to worry that some youths are becoming spaced out on the space games.
Spaced out.
You can't get hooked on it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty funny. So the whole
I got a story on this.
Oh, you do?
good.
Yes.
Good. Let me first. I'm gonna go ahead and tell us your story. I'm just for the chatters. I'm letting you guys watch the video on your own time. I'm gonna put that in there. So.
No, I don't want to interfere with that. But it made me think of a story.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And I've told this story before, but it's been 3 years, so nobody remembers.
Everything's fresh.
In fact, maybe I don't remember. No, we went to New York to do a show, one of the many times, and we were on. My brain's not working. Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
You remember Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Is that still around even?
There's those guys in Mall of America have a Nickelodeon universe in the middle of it.
There is a Nickelodeon channel. Yeah.
Yeah, Nickelodeon channel. Anyway, so we get up there, and this is right in the. This is the middle when everything's crazy like what you just heard. So we're in the green room, and we're all waiting. It's packed full of people, and they had different things. People there, a couple of people, TV show people, and Gary and I were there, and they had some guys, representatives from some of the video companies. And this was like a talk show kind of thing that was a big show on the channel. It was kind of like a Phil Donahue thing where they had an audience in there, the kids, and they would talk and ask questions. Anyway, so we're sitting in there waiting for the show to start, going to be a live show. And in the middle of all this, they placed these women. There was 3 or 4 of them who had formed this group, anti-video game group.
Oh, no.
Traveling across America, just to thwart this the
fun
video game stuff.
Yeah.
And they're in there. Well, it didn't take long before they get into an argument with the video guys, the companies, and they're having this argument. And so I'm sitting next to one of the women. I'm sitting with Gary, and I look at him, and we're thinking, hey, when they find out who we are, we're gonna have claw marks on our face. So we're sitting there, and I'm trying to, kind of like this. And suddenly the woman kind of looks at me, and she turns and she says, aren't you the guys that do the Pac-Man Fever record? And reluctantly, and she said, can I got a copy of the record I brought with you. Can I get your autograph on her to give my daughter, she loves it. And I go, oh yeah, sure. And we sign everything. And then she promptly walks out on national television and starts, putting down the game industry and how terrible it was. Never forget that.
That's hilarious.
Maybe she was into the fever part.
Yeah, she had the fever.
She's like, I like that fever.
She had other things, but I won't go into that.
She was attractive?
No.
You're not allowed to say that on the air.
Yeah, can we do that? No, I don't know. How does she identify? I don't know.
Here we go. So
all right.
This part, right, Mark, this is what we've been looking forward to the whole time.
Yeah, it's. I think it's called something like "What's in the Juke."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right, welcome to What's in the Juke, where we play a small part of a popular song, and hopefully our chat participants are able to guess it. At the moment, if you are able to guess the title of the song, you will get probably a full point.
Yeah. Oh, and we play a thing for that.
Full point.
Right? There you go. If you're able to guess the artist, which we're just actually not going to even bother with tonight, and you'll find out why later, you would have normally gotten a half point. Yes. Yeah. So let's go ahead and begin with our first song, Adam.
And let's keep it clean. Right?
No fighting.
No fighting. All right. Here comes okay. Did you already give him the hint? Andy Baldwin says he's gonna kick Jerry's butt at this game.
All of these songs were on the same album. That's your hint.
Except for 2.
Oh, except for 2, right?
All right.
Am I allowed to play or
you? Sure.
Oh no, you were definitely not.
Oh yeah, we got it. Well, for one thing, we're like on a 5-second delay, so they won't. They'll be upset.
They'll never make it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Pac-Man Fever.
It is not that. Somebody said, "Is this Pac-Man Fever?" We're like, no.
I like playing this song because nobody flags it. It's Jerry Buckner.
I'm flagging it right now. Get off the camera.
Miles from home.
So far, nobody in the chat has guessed it.
Come on, chatters.
They're gonna get it when the chorus comes.
I love that. I love that.
That song was originally about my. This is a little sad.
Yes.
Get your tissues out.
Okay.
It's true. It was I had lost one of my dogs that I loved. Crazy about this dog. Had died just a couple of weeks before, and I doodle around with that, just kind of working through all that loss. And then we saw the movie and decided to do it, and we thought this melody and stuff would work with it and everything, which I thought it did.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
Did I bring everybody down now? Everybody.
Where's the version where it's about your dog? I want to hear that one.
Yes, nothing like a dog story that that bring everybody down.
That song is E.T. I Love You, and you're going to talk about that in a little bit on how people can get it by purchasing your book. Okay, and the next track is this one.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Captain, fight like a robot.
We're going to require the actual name, right? The full name of this?
Sure. That's a lot. Okay,
that's enough.
Okay.
That's enough of that.
Yeah, it's way too much.
Who still owns these songs? Who's the owner of this album, Jerry?
You mean the master tracks?
The original master tracks, yeah.
Well, CBS Records still owns it. But we did the redo, which is was plug here, plug.
Nice.
Plug.
Arcade Jason is in the lead with 1 point. He guessed the correct name of the song.
Oh, great.
So we got to go point. So
hey, the originals to this song weren't lost in that Universal fire or anything, were they? Did you hear about that?
I did hear about it. Yeah, another happy Universal writer probably.
Yeah, no kidding.
I tell you what, I'll throw in whoever wins. I'll throw in this brand new CD if they want one. You want to do that?
Yeah. That's a great idea. Okay, next track.
And I'll even sign it, and we can get it to the winner.
Awesome. That's sweet. Thanks for doing that.
Stakes are up now.
Lovable.
Oh,
yeah.
Now they're all saying going berserk. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
here
we go.
Squeeze me.
Next track. Wait, that's. Is this the new album
kind
version?
of off with the lyrics. Sorry.
Oh, I supposed to stop right
You're
there?
not doing this very well.
Well, took care of that one, didn't I?
I want to play a little bit of the tracks.
Well, you have to play a little bit of the intro and then stop it, and then when somebody makes their guess, then you can continue it.
Okay. Has anybody guessed it yet?
Let me. No.
See?
Mr. Peabody.
Mr. Peabody is in with Mousetrap. He's got 1 full point. So now we have a fight. We have a full fighting chance here. Next track. I don't even have to do anything else for that.
Gee, what could that be?
I think it's Major Havoc.
Alien Poker.
Gotta play a little bit of this song.
I really like it.
This is a good one. This should have been a single. That's a great opening line.
Gary always liked the dirty, filthy, blind. I don't know why you like that. But,
and you wrote it, right?
Really, we wrote everything on there.
Yeah. Did you come up with that line?
I'm going to sweeten the deal. I'm going to throw in one of our pop sockets with the CD.
Oh, maybe should we give a pop socket to like the second place winner? All right.
You mean,
Defender was Andy Baldwin. Andy Baldwin's in the game now.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Beautiful pop socket.
All right, here we go. All right. Oh,
okay.
It's beautiful. The pop sockets go on the back of phone allow you to hold it without much effort.
Love it.
It's great.
So you don't drop your phone.
Yep. Yes.
He says, I got Pac-Man fever. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Nice.
And then there's the back. Peel off and you stick it on the back of your phone.
And 3M is a Minnesota company.
Yeah.
Then you can walk around holding your phone with one hand. I mean,
It's Minnesota Mining and what?
And
with the 3M
manufacturing. Minnesota Mining Manufacturing. Okay, next track. I don't know how long to make this one go. Jerry, can you tell if these are the originals or the new album? Here we go. Someone has to be digging out the album by now.
Asteroids around me don't know where to run. I'm somewhere between the moon and the sun. I'm in command of 3 ships and there's more on the way. I'm a space cadet. I can really play.
Arcade Jason gets it with Hyperspace for another point.
Full point.
All right, the next track.
Excellent work.
Here we go. I think they're just letting us play the songs because they want to hear it.
I love the syncopation on this one.
Yeah.
That was actually derived from a commercial. We used to write jingles here in Atlanta, and we did a jingle for a skating company, a chain of skating rinks, and we loved that. We loved it. So when we did the album, we kind of stole some of that, which we had written the jingle too. So we kind of stole some of that and put it in there. But I always liked that one.
That's a good one. Arcade Jason, I'm giving it to you. Donkey Kong Do The was your answer.
Full point.
All right. Next track.
My favorite one.
The centipede multiplies and divides and comes after you.
I don't know what that one's about at all. So that is somebody's gonna get it. I just know it.
I kind of want to know what are the songs that you were like, you tried to do it and you're like, forget it, this isn't gonna work. And then,
yeah, did you have one like that?
What are the trash songs that you couldn't do?
That's a really interesting question. We had one song, I can't remember what it was, but we, after wrestling with it, we just hated it so much. We just said, erase everything. Just light every track up red and erase it. Don't ever want to hear it again. And there was a song that we were going to do on the album that we never got around to. And that one I can't remember. I've got pieces of it somewhere. I can't remember what it was, but no, I think I know we had some games I know we wanted to do something on Space Invaders.
Oh,
but we couldn't come up with anything because that was a big game in those days.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And we couldn't come up with anything. So, you know.
Well, there's been many a Pac-Man song made after the one you guys made, but not as good. Including one they just made for the 40th anniversary, and it's terrible.
You know, I don't know what that's about. I saw that. I thought, I don't know.
It's weird. It's just a bunch of people bouncing around to Pac-Man sounds, and none of the people in that video even know what Pac-Man is.
Adam has that playing on his stereo right next to his exterminator.
You're just upset because you played. It was a news article I didn't like. Like they released the 40th. Why didn't they ask Jerry to come back and do it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know, because they didn't want to pay for it, I guess. We'd have done it for free, I guess. I don't know.
What they should have had you done, Jerry, is like bring in like a bunch of modern artists and have them do like a duets version of it. You know, like you write the music and they put the rap in it, they put the pop in it behind it, and you could have done some fun stuff. You could have maybe pick one of your favorite new artists and had them collaborate with you. So.
Yeah, I mean, we could have been happy to. I think we could have not done any worse.
Yeah. Exactly. Is there anyone who's like you would consider doing a new version of Pac-Man with?
Oh, whoever would be interested would love to. We're always open. Sure.
Yeah. It's like
we had a good time doing it. We did the Wreck-It Ralph thing back in 2012?
12. Yep.
That was a lot of fun doing that, and that come out pretty good.
Just get Mark Ronson and you guys in the same room, and then throw in a
little. I love. Yeah, I would love.
That would be great.
Be fun. Okay, so who got that last one? Oh, Centipede.
That was RK Jason again. He's ahead with 4 points.
4 points. All right. Yep. So here we go. We just played this last week.
Somebody said this sounds like 9 to 5.
It does a little bit.
Froggy thinks one step at a time. The way that he moves has no reason to rhyme. He hops and jumps, dodges and ducks, cars and buses, vans and trucks. Go, Froggy, go!
Okay, so who did that voice? Is that Gary?
That was Gary.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Wow.
There was, he did that. We wanted that to be the single. We liked that one for the second single, but the label wanted Donkey Kong, and they felt like that was stronger. So that was actually Donkey Kong was the second single, but we kind of liked that one. But yeah, Gary, that song, there was a show on in the 50s when we were just little kids running around, and it had a guy named Jingles on there, and they had it was a kids show, and they had an old grandfather clock, and there was this stupid frog that would come up and some smoke would come up and he would puff up, and he would give this guy a hard time. I don't know, you have to be old like us to know it. But anyway, the frog, he would go, twang your magic twanger, Froggy, and this thing would, would appear, And so Gary threw that in the song, we thought, for fun. And people ask all the time, what is that about? Well,
I love it. I think it's hilarious. And I remember listening to that song at my neighbor's house on his little record player. We loved that song, The Froggy's Lament.
Yeah, okay. it was a fun song.
And it looks like Mike Page is in the game now with a point. Am I reading that right?
That's right.
All right. 4 points. Mike Page, I got to thank Mike Page because he has graciously sent Arcade Radio a bag of goodies. So after this show, we will probably start handing out some of these cool magnets of things like computer space, Star Wars, and they're like 5 inches and they're handmade out of wood and magnet.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool. So there's a whole bag of them.
In there anyway?
I do have a Pac-Man in here. We should send that to Jerry.
I would love to have it.
All right, so we'll put these away, and when I'll dig through it later. I'll mute it while we're doing something else, and then I'll make sure it gets into the mail to you. Oh, you got your shirt too, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do. And somebody already grabbed it.
Yeah.
I get stuff. It's a cool shirt.
That's a fun one.
I think we might want to do something with those and maybe sell them or something. But those are cool.
Sure.
Yeah, I brought it in, and my family, whenever we get stuff, if it's cool, somebody takes it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, maybe we'll just send you a few more. I ran them just before Thanksgiving on a sale, and they were really cheap. So I'll talk price with you. We can figure
It's
out.
a nice shirt. It's a nice. I mean, the texture, material is nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're decent shirts. They're not bad at all. And they got a pull-off tag, so you don't have to worry about that dumb tag, Rich. And so, no, that's good stuff. All right, next track is coming up. Okay, this one's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, really.
Was this released?
Never released.
Okay. Well, this is a new song. Newish.
So,
when was this written?
We did this, like I say, when Clinton was president.
Yeah, 92 to 2000, right?
I guess it's not that
area.
new. Yeah.
The last thing we ever did, and no one's ever heard this song, we did a song for Angry Birds, and we never were able to get with the company to work a deal out to put it out. And so it sits hidden away. It was the last thing Gary, before he passed away, last thing he sang lead on. Okay. And I'd love to release it someday, but we're afraid of getting sued. But we did, we did something in Angry Birds. I thought it was a good track, but.
Oh, that's right. Last episode we had you on, I was going to contact the Angry Birds people. They never replied. Those.
I know they must be too angry to reply.
Yeah. They're just too.
So it looks like Arcade Jason pulled that one out too.
Full point.
Okay, true fan in there. All right, here we go. This last track you may have heard of. There you go.
Well, that's interesting because I think that those first two lines, and Gary wrote that when we wrote together, but he wrote those particular lines, and I think that summed up the whole thing, don't you? I mean, the whole what it was back then.
Yes.
And anytime there's articles in line or newspapers or magazines, they love to use that line, which is fine. We're happy that they would use it, but I think I think Gary did a really great job on that opening. I think that was the whole thing right there.
I totally agree with you, and it's so thematic. So it's like an anthem for the era, and I just you hear that first opening line, and you can't help but smile. It's just an awesome song.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that's why I say when people talk to us or give us a hard time about stuff or something, I say, look, we just wanted to have fun. We cut some tracks, and fortunately, people still like them. I mean, kids hear these CDs today, and it's just like they still love them. They love the songs and stuff, and so we had a good time. But
and remind me when that song hit it got up to number 2.
Well, it got number 3 in what was called Record World. There was 3 major charts in those days: Billboard, Record World, and Cashbox.
Sure.
Record World was no longer around, but it was number 3, which is that was more realistic. But it was, I think we hit in Billboard number 7, I think, or 8.
Okay. In 1982.
82, yeah. The song actually came out in 81, the fall of 81.
Yeah.
But didn't really hit till 82.
So that, of course, was Pac-Man Fever. And who got that one?
That would be Mr. Peabody. So he pulled up second place. I presume this means Arcade Jason gets the CD that's signed, and Mr. Peabody gets the circular sticky thing that the name.
Is that okay? Is that okay with you, Jerry, if we send out 2 prizes?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Get the names and addresses for the winners, and we'll send this stuff out.
Okay,
All right.
All right, guys. You know how to hit me up, but find me on Facebook or send me an email at adam@arcaderadio, and I'll take care of that for you. I think I already have one of these guys, or both of them. But anyway, send me your addresses again. Make sure I have them. And then we should roll to the next segment, I think, which is we checked for. What's that?
I said I kind of have to jump here in a few minutes.
Oh dear. Well, we were just about to get to the interview.
Well, okay. Well, that's the reason we're all here. Well, let's do one. Let's do an interview. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right, this is the reason we're here. Welcome to the show again, Jerry Buckner. And, we probably only have a few questions. We've been talking to you all night, so we've got a lot of overlap here. But we did want to talk to you about your book right away. So why don't we talk immediately about that?
Right here.
There it is.
Well, and give us the full title of that book, if you wouldn't be.
I don't know if book is appropriate. It's not real thick. It's a quick read. This is
a pamphlet, maybe.
Well, it's more than a pamphlet. What we'll do, I don't know, a booklet. Let's call it a booklet.
Yes, I like that.
A novella.
But it's cool. But it's got a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stories and stuff in there. And but the cool thing is this is the print version. Then you have the Kindle version, which is got links to all kinds of songs and music. It's a great deal for the price. So you can get either one. And a lot of people like these for Christmas. We've sold a few, and I've signed some of them or whatever. But that's the book, Pac-Man Fever. You can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
Pac-Man Fever: The Story Behind the Unlikely '80s Hit That Defined a Worldwide Craze.
Does that sound like a publishing company that made that up?
You're going to need a longer title, sir.
The unlikely. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, the cool thing about that book, though, is it's not just a book about yours and Gary's history. It's and all throughout the book, he calls you Gary and Jerry, which I think is funny, or Jerry and Gary, one of the way. But it's also got some goodies if you buy it, right?
Yeah. It's got. That's what I said. It's got a lot of good stuff, a lot of links to stuff, a lot of music, songs, stuff you haven't heard, pictures you haven't seen. Stories you haven't heard,
including
all kinds of stuff.
a country version of Pac-Man Fever.
Oh, I know it's pretty rough, but the idea that anything Pac-Man at that time. What happened is we did the song, and a friend of ours did it. Did a good job, but our management company all of a sudden they said, this may not be a great idea because if people go out and buy this version instead of, the pop version, I never thought that was any danger of that happening. But so they killed it. A major label wanted to put it out, one of the labels, but then our management people said, nah, let's not do it.
Yeah.
But it did escape on a few local pressing somehow. I don't know how that happened, but it's out there. And you can hear that, the Pac-Man country version.
And then there's E.T. I Love You, and there's a bunch of other tracks that you get with the purchase of the book. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's an interesting way to handle a print. When you go to the Kindle, you have the ability to just put in links and have people go to stuff.
Supposedly, I'm told by the publisher that this has not been done before with Kindle, where you have music along with everything else. So it's kind of a new thing, and it seems to be working out pretty good.
Yeah, so I read it and I reviewed it. I loved it, so you guys should buy it. It's $5.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. Your $20 is on the way.
All right.
You don't make money that way. You just don't make money.
Yeah.
Can we mention the pop sockets, because I got boxes of them here.
Sure.
We got to sell these.
Yeah.
They're
How do you buy those?
Go to eBay. You go to Buckner Garcia. I think you can go there and there's a link. But if you go to Facebook, Jerry Buckner on Facebook, we have a link on it there, and you can get them. They're fun. People love them. We're buying them. We're selling a lot of them. People like them.
That's cool.
And a lot of them are being sold to ladies. Ladies seem to like these.
Yeah, I think that's a lady thing mostly.
Yeah, my wife definitely is. She's sad actually that hers broke off, and I'm about to buy one. So here we
go.
You're a good man. You are a good man.
I should buy a couple. I'll buy one for Lily and one for Christine.
Thanks for confirming my masculinity, Jerry Buckner.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We know who runs these places.
Yes.
All right. So, are you working on any voice projects right now?
Yeah, off and on, things come and go. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff. I enjoy doing it, and it's just changed around. I don't have any major thing going on at the moment. Just I do a lot of commercials, a lot of jingles, and a lot of not jingles so much, but just different voiceovers all over the world. It's amazing. I mean, the internet is just so cool.
Yeah.
do business in India and China and stuff because they need American voices for stuff. But I do stuff here, and I did Morgan and Morgan law firm recently, which is, I don't know if you have those there, but they're a big chain around the country. But I just do a lot of different stuff.
I've actually been out to your website a few times, and you've got some great stuff. Can I just play like the John Mellencamp one? Just the.
Oh yeah, that one was cool. Yeah.
Let me just play this.
Grammy winner rock and roll Hall of Famer John Mellencamp returns with his new album, Sad Clowns and Hillbillies, including the hit single Grand View, featuring Martina McBride.
I love that. I mean, it's like you just have a perfect voice for that. And it's described as the stylings of Sam Elliott and Morgan Freeman with a little bit of Southern.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's pretty
kind
sweet.
of people love that kind of that's probably the most popular voice I do. I do 3 or 4 different kinds of voices, and people love the Morgan Freeman. They love the Sam Elliott, and something about a Southern voice that, I don't know, people like it. And even Morgan Freeman has kind of a Southern voice, you know. But
yeah.
But I enjoy doing it, and it's fun.
We'd have to have you do some voiceovers for the show. It'd be fun. All right, and then I got it. So we dug up the Wreck-It Ralph track. Well, Mark, why don't you tell us what you found today when you were digging around?
Right. So I don't think we discussed this in the last show. I know that you've talked about it in other interviews that you've given, but the track you made for Wreck-It Ralph. Now, was that somehow related to the Oscars, or am I mistaken in some way? Or
no, the soundtrack was nominated for an Oscar. It was nominated and won a gosh, what do you call it? The show that's on before that. There's 3 or 4 of those.
Right.
I can't think of the one that it won in, but
Golden Globes.
Golden Globes, yeah.
Oh, there you
go. And it was nominated for an Oscar, the soundtrack, which it didn't get. But yeah, that's very true and very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to go into a theater and sit down there and see. We went in to see the movie when it first came out, and then you hear your song come up on the screen, and the credits and stuff, and you look at that and you go, it's pretty cool.
I love that.
Gotta play a little bit of this song here.
You fixed it!
Is that the one?
Is that you playing keyboard?
Yeah.
I love how
I love that.
It's got a good vibe.
Fixer Felix is a really great guy. Watch him get all turbocharged when it's applied.
Who did the vocals? Was that
Dave?
Danny Jones did that, and Danny is a friend, been around forever, and he's played in a lot of our songs and been kind of in the band if we did anything. And so we didn't think we could do it at first, but then Disney said, well, can you do it with a different singer? And I said, well, so I checked with Gary's wife because I didn't want her to feel weird about it. And she said, no, do it, So we did it, and he did a good job, and I think a real good job, and great. He did the back vocals too, did a great job. But it come out, I was real happy with it. I think the track come out good. People like it.
Hey,
I loved it.
Hey, Mark, there's a call in the hopper. Do you think it has anything to do with Jerry?
It's probably a Jerry voicemail. I'll bet you might.
We have a voicemail we have to play. Okay.
What?
Well, we got a voicemail on our thing here. Let me play it real quick.
Thank you for calling 612-548-GAME. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey, Arcade Radio, okay, boomers. It's your buddy, Bob Zartendek, control panel expert and technician. I know it's been a while, but last time I called, with Jerry, I thought I had Pac-Man fever, and so it turns out I just had syphilis. Not sure how I got that. Hey, wait. No, I meant I had the sniffles. Yeah, the sniffles. Man, they were super annoying. I had stuff dribbling out of my nose for like 2 weeks. Anyway, yeah. Well, welcome back to the show, Jerry Bob. treasure your presence here on Earth, and I look forward to your musical song offerings. That's it for me, guys. I'm going to hang up and listen. Zarzadek out.
Hey, Bob, he calls us every time.
It's nice to be a part of a high-class show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got these callers that call in. No, that's great. Who was that?
Oh, Bob Zarzadek?
Bob Zarzadek.
Oh, yeah. He's a regular.
Yeah, he lives behind a Walmart.
Yeah, and a cargo container.
Yeah.
You might have somebody check on him tonight. Make sure he's okay.
His adventures have taken him out to the SpaceX platform in the ocean. I mean, we've had some interesting calls from Bob.
Good times.
Give me my number, please. No, I'm kidding, Bob. I love you. Yeah. I know you're listening. I love you. I appreciate you mentioning it. And he's not dangerous, is he?
No, he's
never been arrested. So,
he got pulled over that one time for going 88 miles an hour. But
yeah, he shouldn't have done that. That didn't work.
He's not a stalker or anything.
No.
So I know we might have mentioned this on the last show, but have you seen any of the fan-created music videos for Pac-Man Fever?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Some of the stuff. Some of it's really good. You're really, and then some of it, But
right.
There's one guy in there that plays bass guitar or something, and does the song on bass, which is interesting. I mean, I
saw that.
I don't know how you do that, but yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff. Sometimes I'll go on just to look at it once in a while, and they keep, they keep doing it, and it's just it's great. I mean, I love that. And when we get to do some shows, we were just, as you mentioned, off air, was in Florida a couple weeks ago. And I love, talking to the folks, and, they'll bring records in sometimes and sign stuff and talk. And, I understand that, the record came out, it's part of a pop culture that just continues on. It gets bigger and bigger, actually. And it's great to be a part of that. And I love meeting all the folks that like the games and like the album. It's great.
Hey, Mark,
did Adam go to sleep? I put him to sleep. He's
no.
That
has a thought.
That may have happened.
I'm muted. Sorry.
Oh,
Jerry, you mentioned that there was one radio station that refused to play Pac-Man Fever. You're telling us a little bit of a story here before the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what? Tell us what happened with that.
Well, in the early days, this actually, there's two sections of this story. In the early days before Pac-Man, we were doing songs and putting songs out ourselves. We'd scrape up the money to put a few records out. And we, you go around, you try to do stuff, and nobody wants to, the radio stations, get out of here. So we had this song. We were actually getting a little bit of action on it. We went to a radio station in our hometown, Akron, Ohio, and went into, and there was the program directors in there, and we go in and talk to him. And the music directors and program directors at radio stations, you had to be, nice to these guys. I mean, they could, make or break you. So we're in there and we're doing our, thank you for listening to our record. So he listens to our record, then he goes, well, let me play you a real hit. And he puts on some song by a current big artist, that's already out there. But he's acting like he's predicting it's a hit, and it's already a hit. Well, that was all Gary could take. He kind of had a short fuse, and Gary says, he said, that's Creed's Clearwater, whoever it was. He says, anybody would know that's a hit, And the guy goes, what do you mean? And then pretty soon it just, busted loose, and this yelling and screaming, and this guy was just he said, get out of our radio station. We'll never play this record. Get out of here. And they're screaming, Gary's screaming, and he takes our record and he breaks it. And it's not easy to break a 45,
No.
And he snaps that sucker, and we're at the door, and he throws it at us and just misses Gary's head, and Gary's giving him the and so we go out the door, and we climb in the car, and we stop at a McDonald's, and we go in and sit down, and Gary says, I guess we blew that, didn't we? The funny thing is, that particular record was called Gotta Hear the Beat, and it was a horrible record on purpose. But they ended up playing it because people liked it. They were calling, but he would never admit it. Well, years later, this is years and years later, when Pac-Man's Fever is a big hit and all over the world, everywhere, Columbia Records calls our management company, and they go, hey, listen, there's a station it was a pretty good sized market. Won't play the record. Something about the program director, you guys had a problem with him. And we said, what's his name? And they told us, we go, that's the guy from, 10 years ago in Akron. And he never forgot it, wouldn't play our record.
Wow.
I think he did. I think he just said he wouldn't, probably like before.
Talk about holding
that's
a grudge.
when we got kicked out.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Doesn't happen.
Now, there's a story you told about 38 Special last show, so we're not going to get into that. I think it might be in the book as well.
In the book, yeah.
And you had this incident. Were there any other, like, can you dig deep? Is there anything else that was just ludicrous that happened in a studio or at a radio station?
Yeah, sure. We were. This is after Pac-Man, and we decided to do a song. They wanted us to do songs about current pop events. So Mr. T was huge.
Okay.
And so we come up with a really great record. Sadly, it's a great record, but anyway, we're going in to record it. And the engineer at the time, who's a very close dear friend now, I won't mention his name because embarrass him, but he was working part of our tracks. We were coming in the morning or the daytime, and 38 Special was recording their album at night, which their album went gold, ours went gold. It was kind of a cool time. Anyway, so they're in there, and he's working with them. So we come in there one day, and every day we come into work, he had to tell us about how great it was last night working with 38 Special and all this stuff. So this one particular day we come in, we're tired, we're trying to get this album done, and he's telling us how great something was. And I just looked at him, I said, that's just a bunch of guitars and, crap. And so he tells 38 Special that night what we said. And, I said, it's guitars and shit. That's what I said. Well, and it wasn't aimed at those guys because they're a great band. And it was just, we're tired of this. So somehow Gary gets blamed for it. And we come in the next day, and one of the guys in the band had drawn this picture. It was awful. A picture of Gary, and they made him look real squatty and fat, and fat head. And they made a little belt with Pac-Man all over it, and they made him look like a Neanderthal guy, just awful, and made fun of him. So he saw that, and he goes, okay. So about a week later, he comes in with something, and he had went out and got bought a blank album, white sleeve that you put an album in, and he commissioned a professional artist to make an album cover, and it was called Guitars and Shit by 38 Special. And it had in the middle of it a giant blob of dog crap with little, pile of with the little things coming off, to signify it was smelled. And then on the side, he had songs of the album listed. It was cut 1 was Guitars and Shit. Cut 2 was Shit and Guitars. Cut 3 was 2 shits and a guitar. It went on all day. And so he put that up over the studio. Well, one of the guys in the band, I don't know which one, the bass player, somebody, he got really, really mad. He was gonna, beat Gary up, which never would have happened. Gary was a maniac sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And and the guy the engineer guy still has the album, and I beg him. I keep calling him, please, I want that album. Belongs to us. I want that. It's something Gary did. He goes, well, it's he had put away somewhere. I'll get it someday, but I like to get it back. But it was a funny joke. But Gary got blamed for it. I'm the one. He used to get blamed for stuff all the time. We were in Nashville, and the stuff that I did. We were at a publisher on another song we were trying to do, and this guy listens to it, and he finally says, well, he said, and he puts it down and says all this negative stuff. And he says, but of course, that's my opinion. That's what you're here for, right? And I spoke up. I said, no, we're not here for your opinion. We don't care about your opinion. We're trying to sell a master tape. Well, Gary gets blamed for that. And they call over our manager. They said we were being abrasive and all this stuff. And it was poor Gary. I'd run my mouth and he'd get blamed for it. So that's me.
Well,
yes. Hello?
Yeah, we're still here.
You're still thinking about the guitar album.
I'm plugging your book and your.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. I'm like, shit, he finished typing. I'm gonna make sure every arcade nerd has a link to your book and your.
Yeah, Walter Day printed up these beautiful cards, and I love Walter Day. Walter, I wish you were listening, but I know you're a busy guy. Walter we got all kinds of stuff here, and he's printed these things up to commemorate the book being sent out. So anyway, wow.
There's the picture of you guys running away from that giant Pac-Man on your homepage there. How was that done? Was that put in afterwards? Was it something that was...
No, it was a miserable day, actually. They stuck us. They rented some big ballroom, and they were trying all these pictures and everything. And they had this giant fans. And finally, they decided that we were supposed to run like in place and look back, and and that's what it turned. And actually, in retrospect, I guess it's it's real 80s kind of a thing, and it's kind of a cool picture, I guess. But it was just a long day of being, when you have a record, or when you're, in the middle of the storm like that, everybody wants to tell you what to do, and they're grabbing. That's the only downside to it, I guess. It's like you have no time to yourself, and that's why people sometimes say stuff they shouldn't say, and people get mad and criticize them. But
was that the record company wanting you to take that picture, or?
No, I think that was I don't know. I guess it was a combination of our management people and the record company, I suppose.
Interesting. So, and were you and Gary right next to each other, or were they taken individually, or?
No, that was like that. We were supposed to run. They did a bunch of them. We were exhausted at the end of the day. I mean, it was just because it was hot that day, and
that's crazy.
But
And then I have a question. So when you were on Dick Clark's show, was that just a one and done? Like there's only one take. Dick Clark introduces you, you get it done.
That's it. One take.
Man. And what was he like?
He was great. Just nicest guy in the world, and really helped us out. He plugged our second single, our album, on his national radio show. But it was a very frightening experience. Huey Lewis was there. Read where he lost his voice, which is awful. I just read that today. Anyway, Huey Lewis was there. There's a bunch of other acts. And what they did is, at that time, they would shoot 6 shows, 3 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday, I guess. And then they would put them, out. And so we're in a room. We had our own dressing room, and everything's cool. We're at ABC, and we're in there. And he comes, we hear him in the hallway, that famous voice, and he walks in, and we talk and everything. Well, we're sitting there just, we'd grown up watching that show, and we were just so intimidated, and he's sitting there, puts his feet up on the table, and we're talking, and he goes, yeah, well, we'll do, okay, guys, we'll do your first song, and then we'll do a little interview. I'll ask you some questions. And, and he throws out a question to us. And we just sat there looking at him, He goes, guys, it's a television show, you got to talk, you got to answer and talk, And so by the time we had to go out and do the show, I was terrified out of my mind to do it, and it was surreal, and we got through it, but it was great. He was just a very nice man, and it was sad to see what happened, his final days where he was sick and everything, but. What an experience. I love doing it.
Yeah, I heard Huey Lewis had Meniere's disease. So, like, he has trouble hearing.
I hear some days he wakes up and he can hear perfectly, but most other days, he has, like, static. It's an odd thing.
I mean, what a terrible thing for a guy with a voice like that, all those great songs, and suddenly he can't sing. I mean, I have great sympathy for him. That's just what a tough thing deal to be dealt,
I know they're working on one more album. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they finished.
So
I think they finished it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't think they'll tour, but I got to see him a few years ago. He still had the pipes, man. The guy's.
Oh, good. I love those songs, man. It was just, I love that band. Killer.
All right. Totally. Well, we're gonna be respectful of your time, because we know you've given us a lot already, and we really appreciate you coming on the show. We'll probably hang out a little bit after you go to hang with our chatters a little bit. But do you have anything you'd like to say as a parting words to our guests, or just you want to say, hey, see you next time?
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 years.
Or just say, hey, get out of here.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on the show. I love hanging with you guys.
Yeah.
And appreciate you talking about our stuff. And I just appreciate the people out there in the audience. I don't know who all we got, but I appreciate all of you out there. And any time I get a chance to meet people, I love. If I get up in that area, maybe we can hang out sometime. But thank you for having me on the show, and I love talking to you guys. And let's do it again sometime.
We will. In fact, we're going to have you on with our friend Jen May, who claims that she tried to track you down at Free Play Florida, but you had to go, and she wants your autograph on a few things she has.
I'd love to do it. Well, it's always you got to go. It's the got to go thing. But
when you got to go, you got to go. So.
Actually, the thing in Florida, we'll talk that in the next show. I love being down there, but I did really have to go because we had to get back to Atlanta for some personal reasons, so I couldn't stay a long time. But
yeah, we have to talk about some, like where's the weirdest place you've ever performed, Pac-Man Fever. We'll have a whole new slew of questions for you.
Yes.
I could talk, to you guys, fall asleep.
Well, we would probably listen until we fell asleep.
I got stories up,
I've actually done that. I've listened until I fell asleep.
That has happened.
When we were at Beverly Hills Hotel, and what's the singer? My baby does. What a beautiful girl. What's her name? She'd had a bunch of hits at the time. Anyway, she's out. We heard her had her door open in the hotel, Beverly Hills Hotel, singing.
Oh, Sheena Easton.
Sheena Easton, yeah. Just a little girl, and she was across from us in a different.
Oh, that's good because I thought it was My Baby Does the Hanky Panky.
He was going to sing my baby takes the morning train.
Yeah, I always liked that song.
Yeah,
but yeah, we got some more interesting stories. And
all right,
I can tell you, I had a ghost in my room. I think.
Ooh.
Beverly Hills Hotel. You know what the Beverly Hills Hotel is? It's a famous hotel.
Yes.
And it's the one that's actually on the Eagles. It's a picture on the Eagles album, Hotel California. I think they use that.
Yeah.
But it was such a neat hotel to stay there because there's all these other famous people walking around. But I woke up one morning and my window was open, and it's like, who opened that? And I just felt, you could feel like, and who knew who had stayed in my room? I don't know, but it was kind of a neat thing, and it's like, wow, the ghost of
Hotel California,
the Beverly Hills Hotel. Anyway, yeah, let's do it again. Let's do another show.
Yeah, it'd be great. All right, we'll see you in a little bit, Jerry. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you, guys.
And Mike Page, before you go, real quick, this will be coming to you from Mike Page.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. And let me say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
And have a safe time and a good holiday time.
You too.
Hey, Adam, before you start playing the outro music,
I'm not going to play it.
On the last tab, I have a special link for you.
What's that?
I have a special link for you to start playing outro music on our last tab. Yes, this is special Jerry outro music.
We should play this for Jerry then.
Yes, exactly. That's the point.
It's in the chat?
It's a SoundCloud link. It's in the our trailer outro tab.
It's in the show notes.
Yeah. Just go to the last tab in our show notes.
All right, and I got it. It's like SoundCloud. I'm like, what? We don't do SoundCloud anymore. What are you doing?
About to.
So this is a new one. This is a new fan-made outro track, huh? I like this. I like it a lot. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Where do you guys find this stuff?
Oh, I like this. Scott.
What?
I love it.
That is a Finnish version of your song.
Finnish.
Oh, who did that? Where do you find that?
We'll send you the link.
It will send you the link.
Yeah.
Wolf Rami published it by Tujirama.
I mean, we can't even sue for lyrics because we can't understand it. So.
Right.
She could be saying anything in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is probably
could be a parody.
I'm going to put this in the chat for everybody, but we'll send it to you, Jerry.
Thank you. Thanks,
for
guys.
Thanks for
look
being
forward
on
to
the
that
show. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jerry.
So that was fun. We should... he's looking for the hang-up button, I bet.
He found it.
Okay. So that was fun, right?
That was great.
That was a good time.
I love Jerry. He's good. He's a good guy.
He is. It's nice of him to come back on. It's too bad he didn't have more time. That guy does not have enough time.
I know, and that was a tight hour actually. So
it was. But
good job.
We should also we should just have a little fun since we got a little time before 9 o'clock. What do you think?
Okay.
So let's do what you've been working on, because we had Brian tell us the story of his trailer getting stolen, which
about
totally
that, Brian.
sucks.
Triumph of technology, but failure of society.
Yeah,
nice.
And failure of law enforcement, unfortunately.
It happens.
Yeah.
So
it's a little frustrating to me. It's like, where do your tax dollars go that when you report something, they can't have it come up on the computer when they run the plate?
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, so they actually wrote a ticket. So they have those like little, computers. They enter it in. So they have to enter the plate into the computer.
Yeah.
And then they print up a ticket in Minneapolis. Like, it's a computer generated ticket. I'm just shocked that, like, if you put it there. No, so first of all, I'm shocked the computer systems aren't linked. But okay,
they're not.
No.
Second one that I'm shocked about is if you see a trailer with a locked wheel sitting in an alley and nobody there knows what the hell's going on, you would think the first thing the cops would do when they show up is go, hey, I wonder if this is stolen.
Right.
Let me check the reports from today.
Right.
Oh, look, there it is 2 hours ago, 1 mile from here.
Right.
But
not cool.
And go ahead.
No, that's fine. I just was clearing my throat.
No, I mean, that wheel lock, I think putting the chain on the wheel, that was the saving grace. That was the key.
Yeah. Well, so
totally.
So I was reading on how to secure trailers, and that was the one thing that kept coming up over and over is people said, chain the wheel to the suspension, and it's much less likely to get stolen. So we've been doing that for a while, and I do think that that's what changed it. They were probably dragging it down the road and just hit a point where they're like, what the hell is this noise? What's going on?
I bet their engine started to overheat, and they were like, okay, we cannot do this. This isn't going to work.
Well, here's the other interesting thing that so the guys from the shop, so we put the trailer at the shop. I got to head over there after the show and grab it because I'm not leaving it there overnight right now. We got to figure out some way of securing this in cameras, but we're unpacking some stuff today. One of the guys said, hey, I can't lock the door on the side of the trailer. Well, the door on the side of the trailer has not fully locked. Has been locked for like 2 years. We haven't been able to open it. So I'm wondering if these guys actually like jimmied the door open, finally got our lock to open, which hasn't worked in 2 years. It's just like been stuck. And so I'm wondering if these guys got it open, looked inside, and were like, oh shit, we're not going to be.
These are big objects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What's supposed to be in this trailer?
The first thing in the trailer is that giant Bloodstorm arcade, which is a really cool looking arcade and really rare, but not very popular. But it's it's a huge arcade game.
Right.
So for the first ad for the show, I put it up on the live thing because you were talking about it, Brian. The picture of them running with the wind machine. They talk about that in the book. But the funny thing is I colorized them and I didn't like where Pac-Man was placed in the original photo and that he had an eyeball because it reminds me like in the 80s, everyone put an eyeball on Pac-Man. He doesn't have any eyes.
No, he can't see.
No. And
he's doing it by smell, goddammit.
Exactly. And when you see that black eye in the middle of Pac-Man, it's like, it reminds me of the monologue in Jaws where the guy's like, he has a doll's eyes.
Oh, gross.
It's like, it's so creepy. Pac-Man with eyes is creepy. So, just that. Anyway, that's just opinion. Mark, what were you working on this week?
Well, let's see. I picked up my Snoopy kids ride thing, which is, it's made by a company out of England. I wonder where Coin Op Warehouse attains these things. I feel like he gets like a whole shipping container full of them. And I finally got it after about 3 weeks after purchasing it and eventually getting it fast and all over here. And it's pretty cool. You put in money and then like a voice says, hey, put in another quarter because you're not yet there. And then it tells you to sit down and don't get out and don't be an adult and get in here. And then it plays like, it's great. I've never actually owned a kid's, sort of riding toy or riding arcade machine.
If it's Snoopy though, shouldn't it be like wah 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 wah?
Exactly. No. This is a version of Snoopy's Doghouse that apparently is a race car. They made a later version of it where it played the old, da 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 song, but this is version 1. And the funny part about it is when it's done pretending to be a race car, there's like the sound of tires skidding and then it stops. And so it's pretty cool. Like I'm impressed with whoever designed this thing.
That's very cool.
I just need to clean it up and straighten it out. And it's red. It looks like a miniature version of the Kitty Rama movie hut that I have. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to put them next to each other.
Well, I got new Adams Arcade tokens in the works.
New like additional, like a new run of them, or
brand new run. So,
are you running low? Or like what happened exactly?
Oh yeah, people steal them all the time.
Of course, I have some.
Terrible.
I've got a couple buckets here.
So,
I don't know about buckets.
One of my friends I have like a handful of your tokens. Like, hey, dude, those cost money. I put signs up. Put them back. No, it's you have to order a minimum of 5,000 tokens. So I guess I'm missing probably a couple hundred. It's not a big deal.
Oh.
But I wanted a new token because I'm kind of I was never satisfied with the original token. So it was a Tron bike. The original token was a Tron bike, and it was an early drawing of mine that I had done for a different blog that I was doing, and so it
is there a different logo now? Maybe something.
No, it's actually it's still the same logo. What's that?
Was there a different logo?
I don't know.
It was like your other logo.
Are we still on the air? I don't know.
We definitely are. It's just descending gradually.
Oh, people are just like giving up? No, it's not. It's not that.
No. I meant
we're going down.
Comment wise,
so,
our discussion.
Here is I'm putting it up right now. That's the new logo. So.
Oh, I'm missing it. Where are you putting it up at?
It's currently covering all of our faces.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Here's the live chat. So.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Wow, I can't see it, but okay.
It's funny because we're on like
there we go.
We're on like a 20-second delay tonight. It's worse than other nights for some reason. So there it is.
Arcade Jason has a question. How much does 5,000 tokens cost?
It costs. You can find out by going to Tokens Direct and ordering your own.
Well, it's different depending on what you do, right? Like they have like stock tokens, they have like art on one side, but like there's some things that you can do to like increase the cost, decrease the cost.
So I can break it down. It's kind of expensive. It's less than some arcade games. But 5,000 tokens is the minimum. So this game token non-negotiable thing, that's a stock design they have. So you can pick from a bunch of those. Like they'll say game token, or they'll say non-negotiable, or they'll say no cash value, things that you remember being on the back of a token as a kid. I just happen to like this design because it reminds me of other arcades. Then I put my logo on it, and you can see that it's shaded. There's 3 shades, black, dark gray, and then a light gray. and then there's a white, and that's what helps determine when you do a multi-level die, so that you get like shading and stuff. So I made it sort of look like the trail is going to be like a gradient. So when it comes out, this is all going to be brass, obviously, but all the white space will be shiny. All the black space will be raised, and then you go down from there with the different colors. A raised die is around $375, and then a minimum order of tokens is somewhere in the range of $650, $700. Yeah. So, and if you want to do two sides, you're going to end up paying a lot more, and you don't want to put a date on it normally. I put a date because I thought it'd be really freaking cool to have an Adams Arcade 2020 token.
Yes.
And it's sort of an iconic year. It's I mean, this is the future now, right? So,
right. 2121, you will not live for that one.
Yeah, 2084, not going to make it.
So maybe, I don't know.
But 2020, I just thought, and when I was a kid, one of the coolest things I thought was Chuck E. Cheese tokens had the date on them, which and the place. So Burnsville, Minnesota, 1982. So that's where I decided to do Golden Valley, Minnesota, 2020. And yeah, so I'm making these tokens. If you do like just a 2-level and the die charge is cheaper, you can sometimes negotiate with them. If you have an arcade and you want to actually make these tokens, they're a lot cheaper because you can do them in bulk. But I did look at having them done overseas, which is way cheaper. And I think they use cancer for the metal.
What the fuck?
I'm pretty sure that's what they use. Because when I actually had some proofs made, and the proofs came back and they were like dusted brass instead of a nice other brass color. So, so that's why I'm making tokens, man. Making tokens.
Nice.
So Steve Murky had a question about the Iowa auction.
Oh.
So
I'll be right back.
Just asking kind of what the prices were like and what the games were like. It was actually an interesting selection. I was down there. I posted a video to the Paradise Arcade Shop Facebook page if you want to see what was there. I walked around the auction. Prices were really mixed. There's a few games that went for what you'd expect them to go for, kind of high Craigslist, high Facebook prices. And there's a few games that got out of there for a lot less than I expected them to.
Examples.
The Bloodstorm. So the Bloodstorm I got for $200.
Oh.
And an original dedicated Bloodstorm cabinet. I mean, it's not a very popular game. It's kind of a broken fighter.
Right.
But the actual dedicated cabinet is incredibly uncommon. And I would have expected it to go for more like $300, $400, $500, and it literally they shut it down at $200. There are a couple of new Stern premium level pins that went for under $6,000. One went for $5,800. And then I'm trying to think if there are any other good examples. There was a lot of centipedes there. It was actually funny how many centipedes were there, and they were going all over the place based on quality. But for the most part, I mean, I came back with, I think I picked up a police drift, I think, right?
You think? You don't even know?
Can I remember what I bought? I bought a race driving cockpit.
I thought you already had one of those.
For $300. I have the uprights, and I have the cockpit.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I really needed one of those for $300. I got the Bloodstorm for $200, and I got a Police Trainer 2 for I think $250.
I know a guy who's looking for one of those.
A Police Trainer 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I got the dedicated one. It's kind of a cool machine.
Yeah, nice. He's an ex-cop. So I just wanted to show the difference between the two tokens. So this is the current one that I have. You can see it's multi-level. It's got some shading. It's nice and shiny, right?
Yep.
I see that.
It's pretty sweet. I like them. They turned out pretty good for my first try. And this is the proof I got back from China. It's a totally different material. It's like dusted. It's only one level. It's hard to see the logo. It's not shiny. The particles rub off on your hands.
You don't like it? So you don't like that one?
No, it's lighter too, so it's not made with the same materials.
Right.
It's like
gold zinc.
Yeah, it's like potted metal or something.
Interesting.
Like they made those. Yeah, it's just not as good. So if you hold them side by side, you'll see the difference in color.
Side by side.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reflection, look at that. The polish is totally different.
Yeah. So
come on. So what are you gonna do? I mean, have you already pulled the trigger on that, or
on the Chinese ones? No.
Chinese samples.
Those were just samples I got. So
Alright.
I just politely declined because it would be half the cost, but it'd also be like people would be probably getting some sort of disease from this metal.
it's not pretty? You get syphilis or
Sniffles?
I mean, the sniffles. The sniffles.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost fell out of my chair when Bob did that.
So our arcade Jason tells me the upright and the cockpit race driving are completely different PCBs, and they're completely different monitors, which is 100% true. Didn't know it before I bought it. Not sure what to do with the upright now. So,
yeah.
fun fact.
Fun fact. If you need anything fact checked from a technical standpoint, Arcade Jason's your man.
Right.
Cancer tokens. They come with polonium on them, right?
I don't know what they come. I mean, it worries me. Like I wanted to go polish it on my wheel, and I wasn't sure if I should even do that.
They taste sweet. Maybe they're lead.
I'm not putting that in my mouth.
Polish it on your wheel.
The other thing you can't see on the camera is the die is cut to precision on the US token. So they're using some sort of laser cutting,
Yep.
And then on the Chinese one, it looks like it was hand cut. Like it's rounded edges. It's not as clean, or they just don't have as nice machinery.
There's some guy with a Dremel tool going, oh, shh.
Yeah, or a little child maybe. I don't.
Yeah. But I would say don't waste your money, paying for a die in China. That's my advice to the people wanting to do that. People ask me so I have a question for you guys. What's the most absurd thing you do in your arcade? Like I have a giant neon sign I paid for. I know Steve Murky has one. I also have tokens, and all my stuff runs on tokens. I'm a big fan of running the games on coins. What is the weird thing what's the thing that people ask you about your arcade that's or something unusual that you think you do?
I think I put all the times I go to Grinkfest into a frame and hang them up.
Very cool.
I actually love that. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And
I'm always worried they're going to fall off, though. But
are all those Grinkfests, including the Enterprise?
No, the Enterprise, Falcon, are separate. Prototype was like a one-off that we had at CAX a few years ago. But I have Greenfest 3 through 7 up there.
Sweet. I'd ask Brian what's unusual about his arcade.
I think it's everybody just comes over and can't get enough of Exterminator.
Or I mean, the gun range is pretty impressive.
The gun range is a little different, but I didn't really do that. I don't know if there's anything that I've done in the arcade that people go, "Oh, I can't believe you did this."
I like your Armitage's arcade sign.
That is nice.
This is actually this was really fun. So for those that don't know, I was working down in Faribault, which is about 45 minutes south of Minneapolis. 3 years ago, I started an orthopedic practice down there, and then over the years, it's kind of grown a little bit. But I finally left the clinic down there, so I'm not working down in Faribault anymore. My last day was yesterday. And the staff there, one of them does string art, and so they all got together and made this sign for me. She tried to do fluorescent inks. The white actually glows and the yellow glows, but none of the other colors glow. But it's amazingly intricate, and the number of nails. I mean, there's like a few hundred nails in this thing to do the art.
It's crazy.
And it was really cool. Like I won't turn it around now, but they all signed the back. There's a picture on my Facebook page, and they just wrote little messages. So it's kind of a fun gift going away. And I will say, whoever painted this, I need them to paint some cabinets, because this paint job is like freaking flat and perfect. It's amazing how consistent it is.
It's not just a piece of melamine?
No, it's not. This is actually, this is like some type of wood. It's not even plywood. It's like it looks like a pine board that is incredibly wide. And this surface is painted black. She wrapped it around the edges, but I mean, you look and I mean, it's just flush. I don't know if you guys can see the reflection on there, but it's like you see the reflection of the light back here.
I can.
Yeah.
Like literally, like that's the whole thing is that smooth.
It looks like melamine. Yeah.
So I shared in the chat a link to this neon that I recognized when I saw the sign. And so click on that and tell me what you think.
Okay.
Something.
That's hilarious. She must have gotten it from there. Yeah.
Yes.
That was probably her inspiration.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Let me just check this out. Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
So you could. It's too bad. Maybe you can have them make you an actual neon version of it, since you have a prototype next to you on your left.
Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, like they really. I will say, not that any of them ever listened to this show.
Right.
Really, some of the most amazing people I've worked with. So it was a lot of fun, and this was a neat surprise. Like I had no idea they were doing this. I'm getting ready to go grab lunch, and they're like, "Hold on, you can't leave."
Oh.
If you guys are interested in doing neon, I would highly recommend. And I have a Chinese supplier for this, but there's a company that does LED neon, which is. It's not actual neon gas tubing. It's plastic LED tubing. So first of all, it'll last probably longer than gas neon. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make a lot of noise, and it uses way less power, and it's way brighter. Huh. And so I had some Pac-Man and Ghosts made out of that a while back because they already made a Ghost. So I bought 4 Ghosts in blue, and then I had a yellow Pac-Man commissioned to go along with it with no eye. And
yes.
And so it's really bright. They hang above my pinball, and I get a lot of compliments on them. But I'm thinking about doing another neon. Not that I need any more neons, but I love the neon.
Yeah, after a certain point, neons are just, how much brighter do I want this room to be?
Right. Yeah, in fact, I was thinking I might sell my Bud light.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my Bud.
Really?
Yeah, it's really bright.
Yeah.
So, and it's new old stock. I don't know. I can't get rid of it.
Can't fit it in your bar. There's no space for it.
No, it hangs
about
above
the stairwell?
Tapper. It hangs above Tapper.
Right. I feel like it belongs there.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have to stay there.
Yeah. Forget about this stock. Yeah.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to do to your arcade that you haven't done?
Open one that people can come in and pay me money. I mean,
do you really want to do that, Mark? I mean, is that a?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. We we have plans for that. So it's just a matter of location and build. So, or if in the case of where we have an existing building, adapting it. So. Well,
Brian and I have discussed maybe doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, me and Aaron, who Arcadeology, I mean, between us, we have about 450 games. So it shouldn't be a big deal about games. It's just more about what's the experience, what's everything look like.
It's a lot of work to get all those games working. You're going to have to hire Jason to come out there.
Well, I mean, he just had 100 of them at the Houston Arcade Expo, and I think 75 of mine all are tested and working. So closing in on a lot that are in working condition. And I just got the Snoopy ride. So, and by the way, no adults fit into that, but I still got into it. Like you can. There'll be a picture later.
That's pretty funny. I love it. What do you say we wrap this thing up?
Wrap it up. It's 9:00.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, I better turn up the outro music.
The real outro music, yes.
Nice. Is that good? Does that sound good?
I like it. Yeah. Nice.
All right. Well, thanks for listening again on the Double R's. That's Arcade Radio.
Like us on Facebook at Arcade Radio, or check us out semi-regularly updated blog at arcaderadio.com. That's RCADERADIO.com.
Call and leave comments just like Bob Zarzadek, or questions on the game line at 612-548-GAME. And that's 4263 in case you can't spell game.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell so you know when we're streaming live. It's right there. Like the show and subscribe.
You can also subscribe to our podcast on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Music, and wherever podcasts are sold.
More will be coming. Please stand by. That's going to be it for now. From the Arcade Radio team, we hope you had a great time, and we'll see you on the next episode of the show.
Episode 6.
Episode 6 of Season 4. Hey, are you guys watching Watchmen?
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh, so good.
One left.
Oh, I am in a prison. Oh, did you watch the last week's episode? Oh my God. So great.
Yeah, don't even get me started about Disney Plus and The Mandalorian. We haven't even talked about
Oh my gosh.
Mandalorian's pretty good, except for that episode.
that last one was a little bad. Whatever.
The last one was good. The one before was kind of eh.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The one where he goes in and saves the town. It's
That was directed by Ron Howard's daughter.
It's a horrible episode.
Bryce, no. I feel like the one with the last one was kind of, except for that they were in Mos Eisley.
That was kind of
oh
fun.
my God, we could do a whole episode of just us talking about the Disney Plus shows. So.
Oh, I should probably
So
hang
if you
up.
don't have a host, then no problem.
I'm gonna hang up the show.
Hang up. See you guys. Thanks for.
Was that it?
That's it.